Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and with the iPhone 17 models launching just a few months from now around the launch of iOS 26, more and more people are asking me, should I wait for the iPhone 17 or should I just pick up an iPhone 16 or hang on to the iPhone I have now? So I thought we'd talk about all the iPhone 17 rumors versus the iPhone 16 Pro, Pro Max, iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, and whether or not you should wait or just pick one up now. Now, the first thing we know is there'll be 4 models. They'll change a little bit this year, where we'll have the iPhone 17, the iPhone 17 Air to replace the iPhone 16 Plus, along with the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max. Every year, we get these sort of dummy units or models to go over what we think the next design will look like, and they've been spot on for years. So as Apple gets closer and closer to manufacturing these at scale to make hundreds of millions ready for different people around the world, we know what the design looks like for the most part. Case manufacturers also get their cases ready for launch in the fall. Now, aside from the overall models, we'll have some design changes. With the regular iPhone 17, it will mostly be the same. It will be very similar to what we have with the iPhone 16. We may get some new colors as well, but the overall size, even the chipset, will largely remain the same compared to what it is now. Of course, the next one, the iPhone 17 Air, is the different design that we've seen this year, where it looks like they're going to make an ultra slim iPhone. Similar to what we have with the S25 Edge, this will be somewhere around 5.5 millimeters, not including the camera bump, and we'll have just one camera here. So we'll have a super thin design replacing the iPhone 16 Plus. The Plus models supposedly don't sell as well, so they're trying something different that feels a little bit more futuristic if you've tried the S25 Edge. Even though that sounds a little bit silly, it's one of those phones that I really like. So with the iPhone 17 Air, or whatever they're going to call it, a super thin design with maybe something that's a little bit different would be welcome, just to see something different than what we've had for years. Of course, we'll have a odd camera bump on the back here, and initially I thought these corner radiuses wouldn't be correct, but if we take a look at iOS 26, it looks like it may be similar to those designs. We have similar radiuses here, they've changed it, and they still have the squared off design, but they've changed quite a few things that make me think maybe this is what it actually looks like. So that's a bit surprising, but not expected at this point. Now, as far as the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, you can see we, of course, have this gigantic camera bump on the back. Camera bump or camera tray that will house 3 different cameras. So the overall design will change completely. We'll get rid of the smaller camera bump, and this has a couple advantages, maybe to make more room internally for things such as batteries. But one of the odd things that's going to be a little bit different is it's said to be made out of aluminum or aluminium, instead of the titanium design we've had for a few years now. So titanium is a nice, strong, lightweight material, but aluminum offers different options, such as usually anodizing it, giving us different color options instead of sort of the dull colors that we have currently or we've had in the past. So we currently really only have a desert titanium or different colors such as black. We don't have anything vibrant in different colors like we do with the Plus and regular model. So maybe that's where they're going with this. Due to this design, it's said that we could get the all-new sort of sky blue color we have on the latest MacBook Air. So we could have something similar to that. I think that would be welcome. A lot of people really like the previous blue colors they've had with Pacific Blue and Sierra Blue, so to have maybe a sky blue would be really welcome. Now, with the release of the latest iPhones, one question we have about the overall design is whether or not they'll accommodate MagSafe the same way they do now. I would expect it on the regular 17 model as well as the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, since they have the thickness to have the magnets. However, with the iPhone 17 Air, Apple may not include these because of the overall thinness and the ability to accommodate magnets in such a thin frame. We don't know whether or not they'll have this. Hopefully they will, but we do know from the iPhone 16e that they removed the magnets but kept the Qi wireless charging. However, one of the great things about MagSafe are all the accessories that you can use along with it, mounting them in different car chargers or different things around the home to use standby and more. So hopefully they'll add that and have that in the thinnest phone as well. Now, of course, when the phones come out, you're going to want to protect them, and one way to do that is with a screen protector and case from today's sponsor, ESR. ESR's UltraFit screen protectors are one of the easiest to apply glass screen protectors. They have a simple 2-step application that makes it easy to apply without any dust or bubbles left under the display. It takes just 3 seconds to set up by placing your phone in the guide, and then all you have to do is fold the case over, pull the tab, and it applies it just like that. Finish pushing out the air bubbles, and now you have a seamless display that's smooth with anti-fingerprint coatings that help keep the display cleaner and make smudges easier to wipe away. ESR also says the UltraFit screen protector is 7 times more durable than standard screen protectors. It's also crystal clear, so we'll unlock the phone, and you can see we have the same color accuracy and tone of the iPhone display with no distortion, so you'll barely notice it's there. ESR's classic hybrid case keeps your iPhone protected with powerful drop protection with shock-absorbing air guard around the outside, a raised lip above the display even with the screen protector installed, as well as a guard around the camera, and cutting-edge 3-layer structure to protect the camera control but allow you to use it as though it wasn't even there. So it keeps everything protected and safe and allows for 11-foot drop protection. It also features a very nice stand that's built into the camera guard and can be angled to watch videos on the go, use it for standby mode, as well as MagSafe built into the back that's much stronger than what Apple has. It has a 1500G magnet, which is about twice as strong as Apple's cases. Be sure to check out ESR's screen protectors and case with the link in the description below. Now, when it comes to the display that we do expect a slight increase from the current iPhone 16 Pro Max. The iPhone 17 is said to go up to 6.3 inches from 6.1. The 17 Pro is said to get up to also 6.3 inches as well. The 17 Pro Max will be at 6.9 inches, and then the 17 Air will come in at 6.6 inches. So pretty typical of what we have already. Maybe we'll get some smaller bezels, and the dynamic island is said not to be changing this time around. One thing that is good, though, is many people are saying that we're going to have 120 Hz displays on all devices. Now, whether or not they call it ProMotion or not, we're not sure. And Fixed Focus Digital on Weibo said all of them will have this, but again, they may not be called ProMotion. Maybe on the iPhone Air and iPhone 17, they'll just be regular displays that can scale to 120 Hz. They could also have a coating on them to help with reflectivity. However, many people have said that they've sort of ditched that idea for now, and they'll stick with the reflective coating. Hopefully we'll see that, and maybe they'll add that in the latest production. Now, when it comes to the batteries, I know that's a big concern for many people, and we do expect a slight increase with the exception of the iPhone 17 Air. We expect this to be a very small battery at maybe only 2800 milliamp hours, according to YUEX1122 on the Naver blog. This seems like they could bump this up a bit, or maybe they'll use a different technology, or maybe the chipset will be super efficient. We just don't know at this point. But the S25 Edge is much bigger than that at 3900 milliamp hour, so we know they should have the room at least to fit something a little bit bigger. The iPhone 17 is said to have a 3600 milliamp hour battery, 3700 in the 17 Pro, and up to 4700 in the 17 Pro Max. I would like to see them bump that maybe to 5000 milliamp hours or larger, but that's what we're expecting for now. We're also expecting a bump in the charging performance. Now, MagSafe can currently go to 25 watts. Maybe we'll see 35 watts, as the rumor says, along with reverse wireless charging. However, with the latest iOS 26 update, we get more information, and maybe we'll have some more management of that. As we go into our battery settings here, so if we go up into iOS 26, you not only can see your battery health, but much more information, along with things such as power modes with adaptive mode. So it can help with battery life, and this is probably more directed toward the iPhone 17 Air. So hopefully we'll see even more aggressive battery management with extended life, and maybe we'll get much better battery like we once did on the iPhones. Now, just like every year, we expect the cameras to get an upgrade. The front-facing camera is expected to be 24 megapixels on at least the Pro models. However, we don't know if that's going to be on the iPhone 17 Air and regular iPhone 17. However, the rear cameras, again, are expected to get an upgrade, at least in the telephoto zoom lens. This time around, we're expected to get a 48 megapixel sensor, which would make all 3 of them 48 megapixels. This would give enough data and more information to allow for better zooming. We could punch into the sensor and maybe only have a 3 times optical zoom lens, or maybe that's what this camera bar is about. Maybe they'll have better telephoto zoom here. So we don't really know all the details just yet, and that typically is the case until the time they announce it. However, we do expect possibly 8K recording in the Pro models, as well as a front and rear camera recording together option in iOS 26 for the iPhone 17 Pro models. So if we go into the camera here, you'll see we have, of course, the new interface, and within here we could have a new option to allow us to record forward and back cameras at the same time, giving commentary and using it for things like that. We've seen that on things such as the S25 and other phones for quite some time though. We also expect the rear camera on the iPhone 17 Air to also be 48 megapixels and allow for better zoom as well as ultra wide, but we don't know as to what extent it will allow this, but I would expect it to have a different lens at least. When it comes to the chipsets, well, this is one area where it's a bit disappointing if true. With the regular iPhone 17, it said that we could get maybe just the A18 chipset in it, so there really wouldn't be much of an upgrade from the iPhone 16 model almost in any way whatsoever. It would basically just be a continuation. Maybe we'll get some updates with the cameras or the display, but it wouldn't be much different. Most of the changes would be with the iPhone 17 Air and the Pro models. So what we're expecting to have is the A19 chipset in the iPhone Air, maybe for more efficiency, and then the A19 Pro in the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max models. So that's what we're expecting this year, with up to 12 gigs of RAM, at least in the Pro and the Air model. But again, the regular 17 is expected to still have 8 gigs of RAM. We don't know this 100%, and we also expect the new chipsets to have improved cooling with new vapor chamber technology. This has long been used with different graphite backings, vapor chambers, and other things in other manufacturers' phones, and I think it's about time Apple adopts that and really makes things more thermal efficient. So I think that would really help. Apple's also been making some efficiency improvements when it comes to the overall cellular data, and we could see the C1 modem, at least in the iPhone 17 Air and regular 17. However, we don't know if we'll get that in the Pro models, as it's said that we may still get the Qualcomm modems. Apple's also said to be working on their own Wi-Fi modem that we could see in the Pro models. So we could see their first Wi-Fi chipset of their own that's much more power efficient. That combined with maybe a new cellular C1 or C2 could really make the iPhone 17 Air much more power efficient. So again, they're very good with their chipsets, and we could see something along those lines. Apple also may be changing some of the names. We could see maybe an iPhone 17 Ultra. We don't really know this for sure, but there's been some rumors about that. And we do expect a folding phone next year from Apple. Similar to the Pixel and Samsung lineup, we expect some sort of folding phone to go along with iOS. So that's expected next year, though. Also, when it comes to the release date, well, that's typically in September. Usually the release date is in the second or third week of September. Usually the announcement will take place in about the second week, with the actual release date in about the third week of September. Of course, we don't know the actual dates until Apple tells us, but that's typically what happens, along with the iOS 26 launch and all the other software updates as well. Maybe some new AirPods, as they're hinted as well, for the AirPods Pro 3. Now, when it comes to price, that's one area many people are concerned. Apple has been asked, and so far they have nothing to announce. We could see a slight price increase. We could see a huge price increase. We just don't know at this point. But if you're wondering if you should hang on to your iPhone 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max, or regular iPhone 16 models, well, I would say at this point, it's definitely just worth waiting and seeing what happens. However, if you're wondering if you should upgrade, well, if none of those upgrades matter to you, you can get pretty good deals right now on the iPhone 16 models. I've seen some offered for free with different contracts. I've seen others where they'll offer one for each line if you sign up 4 different lines. So it just depends on the carrier and where you are in the world. But based on what we're seeing right now, you can get pretty good deals on the iPhone 16 models. But if you want all of the latest features, well, definitely wait until September. We'll also see additional discounts on the iPhone 16 as Apple will stop making them typically and then just sell them at third-party retailers. So at this point, I tell people if you really care about technology, you want the latest thing, just wait for the latest updates. If not, then pick one up now and you'll be happy with what you have. You'll get most of the same features, with maybe the exception of the forward and rear facing camera being used together. Of course, there could be additional features Apple shows off at the iPhone launch, but we really don't know what to expect as far as that goes. But we do think these are the actual designs at this point. So that's pretty much everything at this point with the iPhone 17 and the iPhone 16. Hopefully that helps you make a decision so far, and let me know if you're planning to pick up the iPhone 17 in the comments below. Of course, I'll link this wallpaper that I used on the iPhone 16 Pro Max in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.